How good would Michael Jordan have been if he played in today's NBA? This is a question that has been asked a million times, and the reason why is quite simple. He dominated his era in ways that we have never seen another player in NBA history dominate in any era, period. So with that being said, let's get into it.
Batman, what? Batman, yeah. Batman, hey, Batman, what? Mr. Never use a gap, man, yeah. Never turn like a bat fan.
Hey yo, what is really going on? This is your boy A1 Hoops back up in your notification feed with another video. And before we get into today's topic, stop what you're doing and follow me on all these social media platforms if you like what I do and would like more daily NBA content. And definitely subscribe to the podcast at A1 Hoops on literally every podcast streaming platform. So with that out of the way, let's just go ahead and start talking basketball. Let's talk about the hypothetical if Michael Jordan played in today's NBA. Now first, let me just address the obvious misconceptions. Michael Jordan would not average 70 points per game in today's NBA, and nor would he be just a bald DeMar DeRozan. The truth is somewhere in the middle. He couldn't average 70 simply because people are literally humans. Like, we are literally human beings with limitations. We have fatigue, we have stamina. This is not NBA 2K where you can turn a stamina off. So saying that Michael Jordan could average 70 is simply ludicrous. He would get tired. There's no way any human could consistently keep that up, especially with Michael Jordan's play style. Now, on the other hand, the other side of the spectrum, he wouldn't be DeMar DeRozan in today's game simply because Michael Jordan is just a vastly, I can't stress this enough, he's just the vastly superior basketball player. Now, the first thing people jump to in order to say that Michael Jordan couldn't play in today's game is the three-point shooting. They say, you know what, he was a bad shooter from three, so there's no way he could play in today's game, which heavily emphasizes three-point shooting, obviously. I mean, come on now, teams is literally popping like 40, 50 threes a game, and they think because of this, MJ couldn't have thrived. And they look at his three-point percentage, they look at his numbers, and they use anything to try to discredit MJ, but they do this without the context. Coming into the league, Michael Jordan was a poor three-point shooter, had a few seasons shooting like 17% from the three-point line. Now, if you would, take a look at the screen, and this is my first reasoning as to why Michael Jordan would still be a great basketball player in today's game. Michael Jordan's three-point percentage for his first 5 seasons was 20.2% on less than one attempt per game. Now, if we take a look at the rest of MJ's career, my man literally shot 35.1% behind the arc on about 2 attempts per game. Now, mind you, this was an era that did not emphasize shooting from behind the line. So you could only imagine what Michael Jordan would do in today's game with the type of work ethic that he had. Now, another reason why Michael Jordan would still be just as great in today's era is the fact that he was a great free throw shooter. Not the best, not Steph Curry or Steve Nash at the line, but he shot about 84% from the free throw line in his career, which is well above league average even by today's standards. In fact, the NBA's average free throw percentage is 77.8% compared to Michael Jordan, who for his career shot 83.5% from the charity stripe. Now, next up, we're going to be talking about the advantages that Michael Jordan would have had if he played in the NBA right now. For starters, Michael Jordan is arguably more athletic than any player who's currently playing. He has the 3rd highest vertical jump recording in NBA history, and the only 2 players who had a higher vertical jump were Wilt Chamberlain and David Griffith, 2 players who played prior to Michael Jordan. He ran a 40 in 4.3 seconds, which is even faster than LeBron, who ran a 40 in 4.6 seconds. And the main reason or advantage Michael Jordan would have today is the fact that today's game is geared towards the offensive player. Back when Michael Jordan played, the game was a lot slower, and the defense had the edge in terms of rules. Back when Michael played, there was no defensive 3 seconds. In other words, centers can literally protect the paint and wait and actually block your shot, unlike today where centers can only stand in the paint for 3 seconds at a time. So if centers aren't allowed to guard the paint in today's NBA, and you drop Michael Jordan in today's game where he's faster than almost anyone, he's pretty much attacking the basket and meeting no resistance. Whereas when Michael played, centers were literally waiting to contest Michael Jordan at the basket. That wouldn't be the same type of resistance he would meet in today's game. Not to mention the fact that back when Michael played, there were just fewer possessions. The game was so much slower, as I mentioned earlier, but there was also hand checking allowed, meaning the defender could literally hold Michael Jordan with his hands, something that is not allowed in today's game whatsoever. So you're meaning to tell me that Michael Jordan in today's game, where nobody can touch him and there's no true centers protecting the rim at all times that there was back when he played, couldn't thrive right now? You have to use a lot of mental gymnastics and bias to say otherwise. Michael Jordan would completely dominate in today's game. Not to mention the fact that Michael Jordan is just so skilled, arguably one of the most skilled players ever, and maybe only Kyrie Irving in today's game is more skilled than Michael Jordan, and that's about it. Now, next up, we're going to be talking about something called zone defense. A lot of people criticize MJ and say, hey, you know what? He never faced a zone defense, which is very misleading. College has always allowed zone defense. So he's already seen zone defense back when he was in college at the University of North Carolina. And not to mention the fact that Cedric Maxwell and Larry Bird have both went out and said that in the 90s and 80s, teams ran something called hidden zones. In other words, there were zones being played right in front of the rest that they just simply didn't notice. And if that wasn't good enough for you, Michael Jordan, as an old man, 39, 40 years old on the Wizards, literally played against his own defense, and despite being old, still averaged 20 points per game, in arguably the best defensive era in NBA history. Now, for those of you who still don't believe me, on the screen is literally clips of Michael Jordan at age 40 dropping 50 points against that zone defense that y'all said he couldn't play against. So when you say MJ couldn't dominate in today's game with the rules geared towards the offensive player, you simply don't know basketball or what you're talking about. Now, in conclusion, what if Michael Jordan played in today's game with today's rules? He would have been just as good, if not better, than he actually was already. And the only reason we're having this conversation is because Michael Jordan was so great in his era that it's almost so hard to believe that we have to find something to poke holes about. Michael Jordan would have been great in today's game simply because of his work ethic. He would have seen that three-point shooting is more emphasized, and he would have just worked on it. Michael Jordan is already one of the elite defenders in NBA history, and that would have translated into today's game. He's already one of the best playmakers at the shooting guard position the game has ever seen, and that would have translated into today's game. He's more athletic than anybody in today's game right now. He has he's probably more skilled than anybody in the league right now outside of Kyrie Irving. If MJ played today against these softer defensive rules, he probably would have averaged around 35 points per game with good efficiency, about 6 assists, 6 boards, and that would have been that. He was one of the elite defenders as well. And with that being said, A1 Hoops signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you like what I do. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and I'm up out of here. Have a good one.